Happy Sunday morning, everybody. Well, let me turn the light on. Hey, like Motel 6. Keep the light on. All right. Coffee with Kenny. All about Kyle Larson. So here's my disclaimer. It seems like Kyle Larson keeps raising the bar. For years, I get exhausted. Kyle Larson's the greatest. Kyle Larson is a gift from God. Oh my God, did you see what Kyle Larson has done? Kyle Larson he's running Indy. Look, he jumped in an open wheel midget and won the Chili Bowl. Look, he jumped in a World of Outlaws sprint car. And look, he jumped in a cup car. And look, he jumped on and on, right? One could easily say that it is exhausting for us to constantly talk about how great Kyle Larson is. But he is. And I think when we see what Kyle Larson does, it's like, Jesus, are you kidding me? In my opinion, and I am the biggest AJ Foyt fan in history. There's no bigger AJ fan than me. AJ Foyt, the greatest of all time. Listen, in my era, it was AJ Foyt and Mara Andretti. You know why? Because they could get in every car and win. But we haven't seen anything really like this. We haven't seen a driver. Now, this is key. We have not witnessed a race car driver that welcomes racing everything. In other words, my dear friend Jeff Gordon, I came into NASCAR with him. Would you look how dirty my hands are? Jesus. But I mean, like Jeff Gordon, Jeff didn't want to race everything. Jeff was burnt out on racing. He'll tell you. Jeff Gordon did not want to run all types of racing. I think that's what makes Kyle Larson stand out. He's like a little kid. He run around like a damn Tasmanian devil. Kyle Larson is so excited to race everything he can get in. And I love it because that's right down my alley and Kenny Schrader's alley. So you see what I mean? You look at like my brother Rusty. When he was done, he was done. Rusty ran one car and that was it, an asphalt car. Jeff Gordon, he could run everything, but he didn't want to run everything. You see what I mean? And you go on with all those other drivers. They didn't want to race. They only wanted to run one car and that was it. They had had enough. They had their fill. And I think that is single-handedly why Kyle Larson is the greatest, because he does love racing beyond belief. And therefore, we see him get in every single vehicle. He's never failed in any vehicle. Any vehicle. He's won in midgets. He's won in wing sprint cars, cup cars, Xfinity cars. You name it, Kyle Larson has won in it. So if you're anything like me, you're like, how many more times are we going to talk about how great Kyle Larson is? We're just going to keep saying it over and over because what he's doing is just mind-boggling. So here's the reason I'm saying this, because Friday night, right here at our home track, the World of Outlaws ran Federated Auto Parts Raceway. We call it I-55. It's right off Interstate I-55, Peevely, Missouri. Friday night, he starts 21st. Barely makes the race. Comes from 21st. Passes the greatest of all time, David Gravel, Donnie Schatz, Carson Macedo, you name it, and wins off of the last corner to the checkered flag. Now, that's Friday night, right? Then he comes along Saturday night for what we call the Ironman 55. 55 laps is a lot of laps. And he starts like 12th, 13th, and wins again. So I just want to say that is why everybody just keeps talking about him. We have never seen a driver that loves racing as much as Kyle Larson. AJ loved it, but AJ just didn't constantly, run every single type of car. I'll share something with you. When I talked to AJ, I said, AJ, did you like NASCAR race cars? He went, too loud. That surprised me. AJ said, and he's right. He's right. AJ said you go along the wall with a NASCAR race car, and the headers, one header would go out the right, one would go out the left. Then they started making both of them go out the left. But AJ would say the headers would reverberate off the wall. So like, you'd run along the wall, and then the sound would go to the wall, and then bow, bow. AJ said, too loud. I like IndyCar. He told me that. So anyway, hopefully I explained to you why it's just constant marveling. It's like, oh my God, oh my God. And then he'll do it again. They're like, oh my God, oh my God. It's because nobody loves racing like Kyle. He'll run every single car there is. Even dirt super late model. He wins all of that too. So definitely a gift from God. I'm going to say it again. Kyle Larson is a gift from the God above. We have never witnessed this much talent in the history of racing. All right, Stephen Wallace calling me. Got to go.